Hey, welcome to Bears Banter. My name is Bernard Muhammad. Today on the broadcast, you have Mike, Dr. Quick Alton. Hey, how's it going, Doc? Keith Flournoy and Jay Beasley. Guy won't be able to make it today, and Tammy won't be able to make it today. How y'all doing today?
Good.
Man.
Good.
I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right.
You doing all right? Hey, I'm not as upset about this
okay.
loss. The Bears fall 49-29. I'm not really upset about this because I thought the Bears offense dug in and really tried to get them back in this game, and they got it down to 5 points or 4 points?
Yep.
I did think it was a mistake on the coach's part when he went for the 2-point conversion that early in the game. They're not good at 2-point conversions, and hey, just get those points in. To me, but that's either near there because they still lost the game. But hey, how y'all feel about that game?
I'm upset. For all Bears Banners fans, this is what bad defense looks like. So I want to make sure we can make the distinction going forward. When you gave up 12 points to the Washington Commanders, that was good defense. When you gave up a 49 burger like today, that is bad/terrible defense. So I'm upset about that, clearly.
Okay.
And my thing was, it was like they panicked. They went down 14-0 and they panicked. And I'm like, okay, y'all on the road, hostile environment, just calm down. And then they cut it to 14-7, but then it was like the defense just couldn't get into no rhythm. And Bernard, to your point, was when we actually got the ball and was able to, and we scored the touchdown, and they went for the 2-point conversion. I'm like, I text y'all, I'm like, okay, it's 9 minutes and some change, and y'all going for a 2-point conversion. There's no need to do that. Just kick the extra point, because that actually missing that 2-point conversion gave Dallas back the momentum. And at that point, you really didn't have to do that.
Okay. Hey, Quick, what's your overall thought of this game?
My overall thought is, whenever Chicago goes and takes over a city, we get killed. So stay y'all black behind at home. That's the problem. You can watch the game on TV. You're going down there to party with people you don't even party with here in Chicago. So we're going to lose by 100 piece every time y'all go to take over a city. But I'm not mad at all, because on offense, you've seen some glimmers of the lights that's flashing and coming on. So I was really happy with how they came back, because you go down, 21-6 or something like that, 21-7. And you could be like, you know what, man, it's over with. And they came back. I think they made it within 28-24 or something like that. 28-23, somewhere around there. And you just saw flashes of what's to come. So all y'all be calling me a Bears hater, y'all could take them fingers that guy be putting up. Pick the one in the middle that fits you. That's all. That's my take for now.
And it was one of those things where, I actually did something today that I don't normally do. I actually went and watched the game at my buddy's house, who's a Dallas Cowboy fan, one of my coworkers. We don't stay too far from me. So I went and watched the game with him. And when we scored and Dallas got the ball back, he was like, they should just go into halftime. They should just go into halftime with the lead. And then Eddie Jackson get the pick. And I'm like, okay, you know what? Now we have an opportunity to score again, and we get the ball back. That was a momentum changer. And we didn't capitalize. And then we come out, we get the ball back, and then we go 3 and out. So, it was some questionable play calling with Luke Getsy. Again, I like you, Luke, but you have to go with what your strength is, and that's running the football. And you came out in this game chucking the ball down the field, which actually could have had some success. But you don't have the dogs. I text y'all, like, we ain't got no dog. We ain't got no dogs at wide receiver. We ain't got nobody that's gonna go up and get it. So, it was bad. It was bad. A 20-point loss. A 20-point loss is bad.
Yeah. Yeah, Jay, a good point. It's guess he has these games where he have times in the games where he's trying to be too cute. I believe that's what you referred to it as.
Yep.
Like for example, what they tried to do the play where Justin threw the ball to I think
Pettis.
Pettis.
And then he tried to throw it back across the field.
Back to Montgomery. Okay, what was the point of that play? Then they had another play where it was, I believe it was 3rd and 3, and then you're trying to you're doing a direct snap to Montgomery on that play. That's not a banger in there and get 3, especially since you knew you was going for it on 4th anyway, right? And so a couple of those plays like that where he's trying to get too cute. You know what? Well, why are you trying to just go? Whatever's working, keep using it. But we do need some dogs. But I got to give the receivers credit. They are starting to at least catch basic passes. You know, I mean, a couple weeks ago they weren't even catching basic passes. But we don't have the dogs to make those difficult catches. Like those, it was a couple of balls where guys tried to lay out, or it's just right on its fingertips. We don't have those guys that's gonna make those catches. I'm happy for Cole Kmet. He finally got his first touchdown in 2 years.
Hey, finally.
Congratulations.
Finally.
Yeah. But, you know, Bernard, anytime we start discounting professional wide receivers, that's a bad thing.
Right.
Count the number of missed catches that were in the end zone today. There was at least one for Equanimous St. Brown, at least one for Pettis. That's actually points. And to your point, we probably scored on those drives anyway. But, you know, we just got to be better executing there. Also with Valus, he did lay out for that. I think it was outside his range, but good receivers come up with those catches.
Good receivers come up with those balls. That's why I say no dogs at wide receiver. Good receivers come up with those balls. And he laid out. And that was a ball I feel like he should have caught. But we ain't got no dogs. We ain't got no dogs at wide receiver.
Wait, let's classify something now, because a Chihuahua.
Come on, Mike. Come on, Mike.
It's not a pit bull or American bull master, but a Chihuahua is still a dog. It'll bite the hell out your ankle. You keep on. Quiero Taco Bell. Right. So I've said since last year, we've been playing games with such and such and so, while everybody else is playing with Pro Bowls.
Right.
We getting the production that we're paying for, like they just said on here. We're getting what we're paying for. So we can't be that, man. I'm happy because, and it sounds weird, I'm happy because, like I said, I see the glimmers from the guys, and this wasn't pegged to be our year anyway. But you see guys competing that shouldn't be out there, basically bagging groceries somewhere, and they still competing. So it's coming. We just gotta be patient, man. You just gotta be patient.
Absolutely.
We're gonna put this thing together.
Absolutely.
We're gonna be walking around, and we're gonna be strutting and stuff. I hate the Cowboys too, man. I cannot stand the Cowboys. Oh, America's team. Shit, I need to move back to England or something then. That is not my team. Not like the Cowboys. I hate them dudes.
Hey, Justin Fields completed 17 of 23 attempts, 151 yards, 2 TDs, 60 yards rushing, and 1 TD by rushing. To me, my viewpoint, the game looked like it's slowing down for Justin Fields. A couple of throws that he made today, a few weeks ago, I would have said he would have missed it, right? Or he would have kind of like threw it over their head or threw it too short. It looked like today he hit more of those easy throws, those layups, which is progress. And then I actually saw times where if he got pressure on the left side of the field, what normally Fields had been doing, and I know somebody on one Facebook page was calling me a hater for saying this, saying I'm not a real fan. I'm just saying what I really saw. He would have normally bailed out to the same direction of the pressure. He would have spent out and went left. But what he did on that play was he moved to the right, away from the pressure, and dropped a nice pass on the sideline to the player. That's progress. That's progress right there. And that's what you want to see. And I was happy for his performance. I was happy from the running game. Demo had 15 attempts, 53 yards. Khalil Herbert had 16 attempts, 99 yards, and 1 rushing TD. That's a nice offensive performance by your team. And all of it wasn't garbage time because, like I said, at one point, the Bears had got this score to 23-28. So these yards were gained. The problem is they just couldn't stop. And I'm not going to sit up here and pretend like if they had kept what's the guys they just traded?
Robert Quinn.
I'm not going to pretend like some of the announcers were like, oh, they missed Robert Quinn. No, maybe they missed Robert Quinn and wasn't motivated. That's about it because what he had about 8 tackles.
This dude had 1 sack. This dude had 1 tackle. He had 1 sack at 8 tackles on the entire year. So no, we didn't miss him.
No,
we didn't miss him. The Bears defense just didn't show up today. They just didn't show up today. The bottom line is they let Pollard, who's not which I said on the pregame, you know, he's not a bell cow, but and he had 14 his entire career. The most touches he had in the game was 14. He had 11 today, and he amounted what I can't off the top of my head 100 plus all-purpose yards in 3 TDs or 2 TDs. So the Bears defense just didn't show up today. They didn't show up.
You got a point there. You know, he averaged 9.4 yards per carry. That is clearly not defense. That you don't stop him until he almost gets to the chains. That's pretty ridiculous. From a defensive standpoint, this was kind of the worst defense I've seen the Bears play for quite a while, not let alone this year. And then, you know, one of the things that hit my mind was Coach Eberflus was in my ear, and I started thinking about what he says every time he goes out at a press conference. And he says alignment, assignment, key, technique. Alignment. Make sure before the play even starts, you are aligned where you're supposed to be. Dominique Robinson ended up lining up off sides. That's a penalty. That makes your team lose. Assignment. Make sure you know who you're supposed to be looking against. If you've got outside protection, make sure you get up the field and get outside. Then he says key. Who is it that you're looking at? Are you looking at the wide receiver? Are you looking at the offensive lineman trying to block down the differentiate between it being a run play or a pass play? Those are just key things. Then lastly, and this is what kind of killed us the whole day, technique. If you do the other things right, you'll be in position to make a play. But if you have bad technique, for example, Roquan Smith had a couple tackles where he went through the wrong leg or the wrong shoulder, and people ran through that tackle. He got credit for the tackle, but this is after they didn't already scored gained a first down. So I think coaching is doing the right thing. It's just going to take more iteration.
Execution.
For the team to actually understand this.
Execution. It's all about execution.
Hey, I see Christian Jones said Harry needs more playing time. Charles Lawless says the biggest problem is the defensive line are able to stop the running game and lack of quarterback pressure. And Christian, check your inbox if you got a minute. I just sent you the link. John Muhammad says defense give up 42 points. You lose 99% of the games.
Defense gave up 35 points. Mm-hmm. So let's be fair. There was one return. Michael Parsons got a return on a fumble. That's those four against the defense.
Yeah.
So let's be clear.
And that's football 101. That's football 101. That happened last year where the Bears didn't touch a guy down. And it happened again this year where Justin Fields actually jumped over Michael Parsons. He jumped over Michael Parsons. And didn't even I mean, yeah, the leap was fine, but you don't touch the guy. And I said as he got up, I'm like, he didn't get touched. Yeah. And now he's gonna run for a touchdown, and that's what he did. That's what he did.
But it's a loaf on that. That's what they call a loaf.
Who's on defense? Who's responsible for stopping the running backs?
Linebackers.
To me, the linebackers.
Yeah, because how it's set up, you got offensive line, defensive line, you got running backs, you got linebackers, right? So the linebackers are clearly designed to stop the running backs.
Right. Which is what I said in our group text. I'm like, okay,
so
ain't nobody on the second level making a tackle. Nobody on the second level making a tackle. And that's the linebackers.
Well, since it's Sunday, amen, brother. So when it comes time for the linebackers to stop the running backs, they are like in Espanol. They are called no está aquí, which means they're clearly not there. Well, if you don't stop the linebacker and we keep praising all of them after they get 5 or 6 yards.
5 or 6 yards after the
linebacker
absolutely
ain't gonna be franchise tag. But I'm talking about Roquan this morning. I'm talking about him. Have you read about him? Not doing the dang on job. And we talking about pay that man his money. He can go find another Roquan. Hey, man. And I'm going to take my seat now. I'm back. I'm back, y'all. My bad.
Even on the last Pollard touchdown, Roquan made the tackle, but he was 7 yards. He was 7 yards deep, and Pollard wound up just pulling his legs through the tackle, and he got in the end zone.
Jay, wait a minute. But people will come and say Roquan had 12 tackles. Hell, if 5 of them is 5 to 10 yards deep, well, he's got 12 tackles. Everybody has a gap on defense. I'm done.
Absolutely.
I took my seat. Wait, hold on. Now.
Absolutely.
Let's raise an offering. I'm sorry.
Okay. Hey, welcome to the broadcast, Christian. How you doing?
What's good, y'all?
What's up, Christian?
All right.
What's up, Christian?
What's going on?
Okay. Hey, the Bears.
You got a fresh haircut too. Look at that young man.
He got it all nice.
Look at him.
The barber should have did us a favor and cut his neck off. No.
Hey, we like to thank those who watch the Bears Banner on Facebook and YouTube today. Chicago Bears fall 49-29. We were talking about the offense and the defense in this game. Problem I saw today as far as defense is the inability for, as all seasons, to stop the run, but also they had to start putting blitz packages together more consistent, because if you can't get there with your 4, you can't just sit back and let a quarterback in this game like this just pick apart your defense. You're going to have to do something, because you see the one play when you finally got some pressure, guess what happened? You got an interception right before halftime. So you got to find ways, if you can't create it with the 4, by blitzing if you have to. I mean, that's just basic one-on-one. What you got, Plank?
I'm sorry. Y'all were right. The defense did give up 42 points. I can't even believe that. So the entire team gave up a 49 burger. Oh, my God. That is hard to read, that somebody calling defense gave up 42 points. I got nothing to say.
Hey, what you have, Chris? What you saw today in the game?
Go ahead, Chris.
So offensively, I'm pleased what I saw. Mm-hmm. They're using Justin in the way that he should be used. Our running game's always been fine, but you got to use Justin, like Cam Newton type. That's where he's comfortable at. So everything they did off of that, just it complemented his game. So I'm pleased with that. Anytime we able to put up 29 points, and it was actually 29 points, you can walk away and you be like, all right, this is what I'm happy to see. Like, I'm okay with losing, but I don't like losing. And I'm like, dang, ain't no hope. I can see 2 games in a row. Like, yeah, Gessie, I'm using Jay phrases, finally getting it. Like, he finally getting it. So I'm pleased. Like, I don't got nothing negative to say. I ain't gonna say nothing negative about Gessie at all. As long as he do that, I'm cool. They scrapped from whatever they was calling, and they now install an offense that suits. It seemed like the play caller and the player, honestly, because Gessie just was in his bag. Of course, I heard what you said, Bernard. Like, yeah, that cute stuff he shouldn't did. But as the whole game, I'll give him an A for me. And then defensively, Coach Mike. Now, I'm going to say this. You coach defense. Now, linebackers are supposed to stop the run. Yes, but defensive line is supposed to create a push. So you asking your linebackers, you putting them in a precarious situation if the defensive linemen are getting pushed back 6 yards. Now, Roquan and them linebackers had a terrible game. But defensive line, they got to get some type of penetration. There's got to be some push. And if you can't get no push, you in a terrible position. So I kind of feel bad for the defensive coordinator because, what could he have called? The defensive line was just horrible. They was playing DB back there. For real.
If I'm a linebacker,
they 6 yards in backfield, literally. It's on both defensive line and linebacker. Defensive linemen gotta get some type of penetration. They gotta hit them.
Defensive lineman's job is to keep the offensive line off the linebackers, so they can
and they have to penetrate. That's penetration.
It's not penetration. You just have to keep them off.
If you shoot the gaps, their defenses they play is gap oriented. They have to penetrate. They have to hit them gaps the way they supposed to. You saw all our defensive D tackles, D ends. They like 6 yards down the field. That's terrible.
So John Muhammad says they need
linebackers.
They need a 3 technique. He said they need a 3 technique on defense. What was that you saying, Mike?
The offensive lineman's job is to keep the defensive lineman's job is to keep the offensive line from getting to the second level to block the linebackers.
Right.
These guys are not being blocked all the time. They're just not making the tackle. Everybody has a gap on defense.
Right.
So it's
They're
not
down the field 6 yards though, coach.
So where are the linebackers?
What do you mean?
They have a gap. They have a gap to control.
Coach Mike, now you know better now, coach. You know better. If
Christian, what do you
defensive
know about
line
defense?
do their job,
What do you know about defense? What do you know about defense? Everybody has a gap.
Let's come back to that. Let's come back to
Coach
that.
Mike, you tripping. Whatever you was drinking, don't do that no more.
Stuck on this one
I'm
point.
drinking it too, and I don't drink. So
both of y'all need to stop.
You need to stop making excuses and start finding reasons.
I said that. Did I not say the linebackers had a horrible game?
Hey,
they had a horrible
game.
Make
them play.
But
I've been on
defensive
teams
line, they
terrible
cannot play like that though. They can't, and you know that, Coach Mike. If you was coaching defense right now, you would have walked in the locker room and said, "Defensive line, y'all are terrible," and you know you would have.
I'd have said the linebackers are terrible.
You would have said defensive line terrible.
That's what I'd have said. The linebackers.
I've been in a lot, Coach Mike. Don't let Coach Mike fool y'all. I've been in a locker room with you, Coach. So don't even do that. I've been in a locker room with you.
I used to say, "Oh, y'all was terrible." It's different.
Hey, what do you got? What you have, Plank? Don't move over to Plank. We'll come back to you.
First of all, again, I got a running back that averaged 9 yards a carry. There is no way I can then turn around with a straight face and say this is against the defensive line. That was definitely against the linebackers, especially if we get a linebacker that's out there every other play talking about how he needs to make a lot of money. He needs to be the highest paid linebacker. For what? If you're not stopping guys that are running off the ball, you're the off-the-ball linebacker. That's your job. This is where you live. This is what you do every Sunday. This is how you eat. This is how you make your money. There's no way that Roquan Smith would, again, we keep pointing to Roquan, and it's not because we don't like him as a person, but his play you need to call out when he doesn't play up to par. Last week, we had nothing but accolades for him. Great job, 12 tackles, interception. The man was a difference maker. This week, he might as well have been in kindergarten play doing something else because he's not getting it done. So we can argue this. We're going to continue to argue this all year. It's not that I dislike Roquan as a person, but you're expecting your linebackers to stop ball carriers, and they should not be able to run against you, period.
Okay, so question. I have a question. So there's no such thing as zone blocking. When you zone block good enough, hold on, let me finish. When you zone block good enough and you get them defensive tackles and DNs in the backfield 5 yards, and they're in the belly of the linebackers, y'all trying to say that that's not a such thing? Because y'all heard the first 3 years when Vic Fangio was here, and our defensive line, they said, oh, defensive line so good that they keep the offensive linemen off of the linebackers. Now, y'all heard that. So where is that to where defensive line in this situation, where they had a terrible game, just like the linebackers, where is that now? Because defensive line is supposed to get penetration. They're supposed to stop the linemen from getting to the second level. They was 6 yards, 7 yards down the field playing DB.
Yeah, I would slightly disagree on that. Defensive line don't necessarily have to get penetration. They just need to play to a stalemate to me. If they play to a stalemate, then the linebackers could shoot their gap. Now, if they're getting pushed back, then that's a problem, because if they get pushed back into the linebackers, then the linebackers are out of positions to make plays. But also what happens too is linebackers got to be able to get off blocks as well. And I'm not talking about specifically.
Absolutely.
Linebackers cannot be getting stuck on blocks. And when I say that, I'm talking about all three of the Bears linebackers. They get stuck on blocks a lot. They got to find ways to get off blocks, regardless of if that lineman gets to the second level, because what you're having in this game is you have running backs actually getting to the third level, running full speed where they didn't even break stride. So that's a complete failure on the first level and the second level. When a runner could get to that level and he not even changed he didn't do anything. Plank, what you have?
Yeah. At your job, do you get paid for what you do or what the members of your team do? I get paid for what I do.
Absolutely.
So I get paid because I make a major difference in the company. If they can get 10 people that does the same thing that I do, then I don't have the ability to go and saying that they owe me a premium dollar. So what we're talking about is a linebacker, a player that's saying I should be the highest paid person at my position in the NFL and turning in games like what we just watched.
Well,
we keep talking about this every other game. Go ahead.
I'm a Roquan Smith fan, but I'm not.
Me too.
I'm not talking about Roquan in the system. I'm talking about the whole system as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'm saying is that the defensive line today was trash.
Yes.
You cannot be a defensive lineman and you're 6 yards down the field. That's all I'm saying.
I agree.
Yes, the linebackers should be making plays. I've said it. The linebackers had a terrible game, but the defensive line should be causing at least some chaos. That's all I'm saying. And you cannot be 6 yards down the field. Y'all go watch on them stretch plays. Before the linebackers even had a chance, Pollard was 9 yards down the field. That's terrible. You got to at least cause some type of penetration. That's all I'm saying. Yes, linebackers should get off blocks. But dang, if they get that kind of movement, they don't even have a chance. So back to what you were saying, I'm done. If my job as defensive lineman is to cause chaos, I need to do my job. And if whoever my boss is come to me and show me what I'm doing, I'll be like, that's my fault. If I do my job, maybe the linebackers maybe have from an F plus to an F minus. Maybe. Who knows? But shoot, where I'm playing, I'm trash. That's all I'm saying. Them boys was getting pushed back. They played terrible. And they
gave up 49 points, so everybody on the defense did terrible. That I cannot imagine one defensive player that I'm going to be able to say had a good game. So I agree with you there.
Yeah, and Christian, those are valid points about the line. Games are lost in football on the offensive line and the defensive line. Looking at the offensive line today, I thought Schofield, when I watched him a few times, gave them a whole lot better play than what I had been saying out of Lucas Patrick at guard. I saw where he seemed to hold his position a little bit more. I thought Justin had early in the game into the fourth quarter. He had a lot of time to pass the ball. That's why he was able to get the ball deep a few times. So I saw the progress there on the offensive line, and I think that's one of the positives I want to take from this, other than Justin played well, is the play calling was better. You had a few hiccups here, but I thought the offensive line looked more like a cohesive unit that was communicating. Because sometimes I was saying the problem is lack of communication, sometimes more than ability at times. You would see at times where you're looking at something and you're like, how is this one guy not blocking somebody? You didn't know who you were supposed to block. And I know somebody posted something today that was hilarious where the player didn't block anyone. I think it might have been Mustafa. Hey, what you have, Jake?
Yeah. Yeah, just going back to what you were saying about ain't nobody blocking nobody. It was several plays where when nobody blocking nobody. But just go back to the defense and talking about how the flow of the linebackers. Our defensive line is unaccomplished, and we have nothing on our defensive front that's gonna say that we're gonna cause havoc. Even when Robert Quinn was here, like I said, he had 8 tackles and 1 sack in 6 games. So I don't want to put it on that. It's just a lack of cohesion, and the fact that we really don't have the talent. And for them to be able to not make these tackles, Dallas had 7.8 yards to carry on first down. So now you're already going into second down, 2nd and 3. So it made it so much easier for Dallas to be able to convert first downs. And I give credit to Dallas because what they did was they came out so fast. Everything was in a hurry up. Everything. Their first 3 drives was all hurry up. They didn't huddle not one time. Everything was already on. I don't know what they saw on film that made them say, like, we're going to go hurry up the entire time. And that's what they did. And before you know it, like I said, we was down 14-0, and then it was 21-7. So they were, whatever they saw on film, they was able to convert that. And, we're not a good team, and this is what happens.
Okay. I noticed since we're talking about the defense, they seem to pick on Vildor today. They picked on Vildor. And this is another thing I never really liked about the cover 2 is you get too many open running backs catching balls in the flat in the cover 2 a lot because the depth that the linebackers are playing, that's one of the flaws that I had with the cover 2 at times, that you just see running backs, you could just dink and dunk all day long to running backs in the cover 2. So you did see a lot of backs open coming out the flat. That's up to the linebacker or whatever to adjust to that. But they definitely was picking on Vildor today. I mean, what you saw in that today, Plank, as far as the secondary?
Well, actually, not just the secondary. It gave up 49 points. It looked like they picked on everybody. Vildor, right. I mean, Vildor definitely was targeted. A couple times they targeted Gordon as well. And they were actually also in the first half, they were targeting Brisker. So the entire defensive backfield was subpar today, as well as the rest of the defense. I mean, there's nothing good that I can really say about that defensive performance. It would be extremely hard and disingenuous of me to sit up here and try to pick out one player that did a good job and you gave up 49 points. So Dallas was way ahead of us. They got whatever they want on every play. So, you got to get the hats off to whoever their offensive coordinator was, because whatever he saw in the design, he called out whatever he got, he wanted. Whatever he wanted, he got. So from a defensive standpoint, I got nothing. I'm serious. Nobody tackled, nobody shadowed, nobody played defense, nobody got in the way. A couple cheerleaders ended up getting more tackles than football players.
I was laughing because as I'm watching the game, Bernard last week and over the last couple of weeks, he's been touting the secondary. Like our secondary is really come to play, and they really have. But today they didn't show up. They just didn't show up, man. Kendall Vildor, just when you thought that he was okay off the scrap heap and he's playing well, they targeted him. They had one target towards Jalen Jones today, and he knocked that ball away. They didn't even target Gordon, but some that they saw in Brisker, especially on the CD Lamb touchdown, where he went in motion, and Brisker was totally not even in the play, and Dak threw it for a touchdown. So yeah, our secondary got picked on today. I don't know what Kellen Moore, who's the offensive coordinator for Dallas, I don't know what he saw. But whatever it was he saw, it worked today. And like I say, Dallas came out fast and furious, and they did that for like the first 3 drives, and that's how they went up 14 points.
One thing I will say positive about the defense today, I can't say it enough, that Eddie Jackson has been balling this year.
He has.
Yes, he has.
Even in a poor performance like this as a team, he still made an interception, a great play on the ball. And believe it or not, they could have had 50-something. Eddie made a couple of nice saving touchdown plays. He's not known for before this year making tackles, but I seen Eddie made a couple of tackles that would have gone for touchdown. I can't remember if they still scored in those same drives, but Eddie has
pretty sure they did.
They did. It just wasn't on him.
Yeah, it wasn't too many plays where they didn't score. Dallas actually got what they wanted today. Kellen Moore put in a excellent game plan today. He just came out. He came out guns blazing. Kellen Moore came out guns blazing today. And like I say, I think they went no huddle for their first 4 drives. Where it was just down the field, snap the ball, here we go, this is what we're going to do. So, I mean, they came up with a good game plan. They beat a Bears team that's, like we say, that's not really good. But at least the Bears kept it competitive. It could have been a lot more competitive had they, I still think, and I'm not in the NFL, so I don't know, but I still think had we kicked that extra point, it might have been a difference, because what happens in that instance is you don't have a team to be like, yeah, they went for the 2-point conversion and we stopped them. So now we got the momentum. Had they kicked the extra point, it's like a restart where they start all over again. Like, okay, now we're starting off, we're going to kick the ball off and here we go. But when you give a team an opportunity to stop you from scoring, whether it's a touchdown or a 2-point conversion, it gives them momentum. And at that point, with 9 minutes and some change, it's too early to go. It's too early to go for a 2-point conversion.
Yeah, Jay, that
no way.
Oh, I'm sorry, Plank. Go ahead, Plank.
Yeah, there's no way Friday somebody would have told me that the Bears scored 29 points.
And they lost by 20.
And we lost by 20. So
yeah.
We played one portion of the field, which was offense. Defense did not show up. Eddie Jackson looked better. He actually made some tackles like he was not making career decisions anymore. And at the end of the day, it did not matter. We got destroyed today.
Actually, Eddie is making career decisions. Ain't this a contract year for him?
No. Oh, no. Oh, no. He on the books, baby. He on the books, baby.
Yeah.
He on the books.
Hey, man, even a blind squirrel could find a nut. It's taking him a long time to get rolling. But
he on the books, baby.
Hey, you know what? What's crazy about this whole thing is this reminds me of when I was a shorty and we used to watch Sesame Street, right? What I want the boys and girls to do at home is to count how many times Plank says 49 points. So it reminds me of like when the count is like a 1, a 2,
3.
The number of the day is 49, and you just hear it all throughout the show. It's 49. Like, man.
But can I add to what Jay was saying real quick? Jay, if you score at the end of the half, that changes the whole complexity of the game as well.
Absolutely, absolutely, because you're getting the ball back. Absolutely.
Who was that? Was that Pettit? No, that was St. Brown. You got to come down with that.
You got to come down with that.
No dogs at wide receiver. We have no dogs. That would have been a touchdown. They don't have
no dogs.
Right?
Yeah.
No dogs.
We got
no dogs.
And we scored back at half. So that whole game, who knows what the defense was done? Yeah. So
when Eddie Jackson got the interception, which we thought was dumb, which my Cowboy fan friend who I was at their house, he was like, man, they should just take a knee and just go into halftime and they be up. Cowboys came out, Eddie Jackson gets the interception. Boom! We had just scored. So now we get the ball back. If you score right there and you get the ball coming back at halftime,
we scored when we got the ball back at halftime.
But I thought we kicked a field goal after Eddie Jackson.
We kicked the field goal. We kicked the field goal. We not at the
point where we start looking down on field goals. It ain't like we
but I'm just
in certain situations, you look down at field goals. Be like, okay, you know what? We got the ball back. Right. Now we got the momentum. In certain situations, I do look down at field goals. I'm like, okay, yeah, we kicking a field goal, but we should have scored a touchdown. And scoring a touchdown right there. So scoring a touchdown right there and getting the ball back to start the second half would have been a momentum changer.
I'm only saying
that situation is when you have professional wide receivers. Then you look for touchdowns.
As I text y'all and said, no dogs at wide receiver. No dogs at wide receiver.
Listen, absolutely right on that play. He has to come down with that ball because if he comes down with that ball, that's a touchdown versus 3. And also, I just want to go back to Jay's point about that extra point is it reminds me of, I'm going to go to basketball for a second, but you know how when the guy get a foul or something, and not a foul, he get fouled on a play, right? And then or something happened, and he still throws the ball up, right? And the defender still runs and smacks it out the air, right? Because why? He don't want him to even see the ball go in, even though the play is dead, right? It's all psychological, right? Because he's smacking it from going in. That's the same way with that extra point.
Yeah.
Would that defense stop you on that 2-point conversion when you do it too early? That give them that same feeling of when that defender basketball smacks the ball, even though the play is dead, by not letting it go in. And so, because you could see there was nervous energy starting to build up on Dallas, right? Because you got that interception, looked like he was gonna have a touchdown.
Yep.
Then they was getting the ball in the second half. That game could have easy. You know, football is all about momentum, right?
Momentum.
We talk about how they've been professional players. Man, stuff go wrong in the football game. It starts dominoing, right?
It's a domino effect.
Domino. Then you look around, people start getting tight. What you have, Plank?
I'm just upset that we got beat that bad by the Dallas 49ers, man. I don't know what else.
The Cowgirls.
Cowgirls
at that, right?
Hey, Plank, it was like that game should have been like Oprah. You get a touchdown. You get a touchdown.
Right. Everybody get a touchdown. Everybody get a touchdown. Right.
Exactly. And it was like Kellen Moore. Since you didn't make it as an NFL player, do you want a touchdown?
Right.
Hey, Jay, you was talking about what Kellen Moore saw on the film. Obviously, he didn't see anything on the film. That's why they were just like, we just gonna do whatever.
All right. He had Kellen Moore had whatever he wanted to call at his disposal all day. Because the bottom line is they came out fast and hard. Dallas came out fast and hard, and the Bears had no clue as to what they was gonna do. And even the one time I was like, okay, if we could just get a stop right here. Dallas punted what, twice today?
Yeah, just twice. But you notice when they punted though, when we went to our nickel defense, when them first 4 scores Dallas had, we was in our base defense.
4 for 4.
And Gordon wasn't on the field. So that's why you saw what's the name getting kicked out and playing coverage because he had to. he wouldn't have been in that situation, and we would have been a nickel. So they was going fast, and they didn't give us an opportunity to make a substitution. That's just all I seen. I don't know schematically what Moore seen, but that's what I seen. Like, he had them in their base defense, and they had a wide receiver out there, and they had either linebacker was going to be guarding him, so they kicked Brisker out there, and he's not good in coverage yet. But that's what I seen. And then when we went into halftime, he went out there in his nickel, and that's when we got the only stop that I can remember, and that's when they punted.
Yeah, because defensively, what I noticed about Brisker, and I know he's still learning, right? So he's a rookie. It takes a little time. You just run some crossing route on him. If you run a crossing route on him, he responds too late on the crossing route, right? And that's why right in there as it crossed the middle of the field, and also Morrow does not help it either, because in that cover two, Morrow needs to drop back deeper to kind of take away that deep middle. But because he doesn't drop back far enough, soon as they get that crossing route and they clearing, Brisker, what they was doing today, that guy is wide open all day, because Brisker still is on the he's on the outskirts of that zone, right? And he didn't close the gap enough. What you got, Jay? I see you like.
Can I ask y'all a question? Who is our Sam linebacker?
We don't know.
I'll wait.
I don't know.
I'll wait.
Don't have one.
I'll wait. I'll wait.
Don't have one.
I'll wait.
No,
I'll wait.
Don't even say
I'll
Miss
wait.
Mustafari on this team.
not bad. I don't know.
This guy Jack Thomas. I think it's Jack Thomas.
Yeah,
Or
Jack.
Thomas, number 45.
Number
He is a
45,
no
he's
show.
second string. Right.
No, is he second string? No, he's the starter at the Sam.
Yeah.
I want to say he's the starter at the Sam, and I'm like, okay, you got Roquan, you got Nicholas Morrow, who I feel like he's a replacement player. Which is I say that for later. He's a replacement player playing for a replacement player who we don't have. Who is our Sam linebacker? Don't nobody know. I don't even know. Our linebackers outside of Roquan making tackles 5 yards down the field. Our second level and our front four is bad. Our secondary is, which Bernard said, is our strength. But guess what? When you can't stop nobody up front, your secondary is going to get exposed. As good as they are, and I think the Bears secondary is really good. As good as they are, they're going to be exposed because your front seven is bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. When you're not getting enough pressure, when you're looking at like in a game like this, where he's literally just working through all his reads, right? If he wants to, right, and could come back to the first one. I mean, it was times in this game, especially early on. I'm like, man, what, he had about 4 seconds to throw the ball. I mean, he had a lot of time in this game to throw the ball. But let's give the defense a grade. It's probably easy to say. It's F on the defense. What any other grades on the defense?
F.
Because like Punch said, they scored 49 points today.
49.
Man, I don't even know what to say. 49
Hey,
points.
play.
What?
Place text us like a 49 burger, and I almost texted back like it ain't better. It's not a 50 burger, but it's darn near close. Man, it's darn near close. 49 burger. Yeah, exactly. You hang 49 on the team. That's a lot of points.
You get 49 points on the team I'm playing against. I'm starting to fight. I'm doing something so I can get kicked out that game to get some respect. Because that's
a lot of points. That's a lot of points.
Let's move over to grades on the offense. Anybody got grades on the offense or a further evaluation before we give our grades on offense?
One thing I saw today real quick is that some of those unnecessary sacks that Justin would take when he's rolling out, I saw him throw the ball away today. I was like,
yeah,
right.
It's pretty cool. All right.
Progress.
Maybe he's watching ESPN and listening to Troy Aikman, old Dallas Cowboys self, when they was talking about he's just got to learn how to throw the ball away and not take that sack. I saw him do that a couple times. I was like, oh, impressive. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was progress too, and I actually saw him point out different coverages. Right, when I saw that a few times, which I saw that as progress, and I like to play the Cole Kmet because it looked like he worked through his progression to get to Cole Kmet. That was progress, and like I said early in the broadcast, on one play where he had pressure from the left, he actually moved to the right and hit somebody on the sideline versus we know weeks ago he would have just spent out to left where the pressure was at. Because he's so athletic, he could get away with it. But that's progress because he moved to the right and bought himself more time. And he had more touch on his balls today. Man, I'm going to say as far as grade for the offense, I believe they scored enough to win a football game in the NFL. Mm-hmm. With the scoring being so low this week, I'm going to give them. I'm gonna give them a B. I want to give them an A, but it's hard to give an A when you lose like this. So I'm gonna give them a B plus offensively. Y'all may change my mind on this, but what you got, Plank?
What I got is the offense. We scored. We ran for over 200 yards for the third game in a row. That's something that you generally don't do in the NFL level. I saw a lot of progression and improvement from Justin Fields, from throwing the ball away to how he was actually reading the defense. He looked a lot more comfortable, and you can kind of look at it and say, okay, I think the team is going to be in good hands. I'm giving the offense a B plus today from their performance. I thought they did a lot of good things. They didn't do everything perfect, but they scored 29 points in an NFL game. That should be enough to win.
Mm-hmm. Anybody else with a grade for the offense?
I got a grade. You go ahead, Jay. You can go if you want to. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Mike. Go ahead, Doc.
If you score 29 points in the NFL game, if you rush for 200 yards,
absolutely.
Against this Dallas defense,
absolutely.
There's no way you cannot get an A for the day. I'm sorry.
Okay.
But their downfall was defensively today. They had some turnovers, but that's part of the NFL game. Turnovers. The other team is working to get you to turn the ball over. That happens. But you scored 29 points in the NFL game. They got an A from me. I'm sorry. I when I first came on, I was smiling and giddy like a little schoolgirl. I was like, oh, I see it. I see it coming. Yeah. It's coming, man. You just got to be patient, people. I see it. I'm sorry. I see it. We scored 29 points with such and so-and-so. Come on, man.
And 33 last week. Let's not forget that. Yeah, we scored 33 last week. Yeah. So I'm not going to be as generous, Doc. I'm going to give him a B plus.
Hater.
I'm going to give him a B plus. I'm going to give him a B plus because Montgomery did fumble the damn football in the open field. You had wide receivers that didn't come down with some catches that they should have made, which again, like I said, we ain't got no dogs. But I give them, I'm gonna give them a B plus, 29 points. And they was down, but the offense continued to build momentum and was able to put some points on the board. So I'll give them a B plus.
You're justifying the A.
Which is why I'm gonna give them the B plus.
Just justify why they give them an A.
But you have Christian.
The turnovers can't allow me to give them
A plus for me, and here's why. Because after the second score, I stood up on my couch literally. I'm like, man, like we can do anything we want to do in this game. Like I know we about to score again, and that's been, I don't know. I'm 33, so I ain't never experienced that as a Bears fan. That confident that we about to score again, Also, another reason why is because Justin had a great game. He threw the ball away. We don't have no dogs at receiver, and we scored 29 points.
I'm finna patent that. No dogs at wide receiver. I'm finna patent that on the t-shirt. I'm finna patent that.
He's in his bag. He's calling plays that fits the just everybody on the team. He's calling towards his personnel and it's fitting. Justin Fields, that interception he threw was not his fault. That ball was tipped, and if it wouldn't have been tipped, that would have been a completion. I'm excited about the growth of this offense and where it's gonna go. I thought we was gonna come back and win this game after defense just did something in the second half. So I'm giving him an A+ because man, that was exciting to watch. 29 points, and then like Jay said, 33 last week. Man, that's fun. Like that's what I wanted to see. I just wanted to see something positive on offense. We gonna lose, that's cool, but let me see something that we got.
And you know that was my. And you know that was.
Huh?
And you know that was my thing. You know that was my thing. That was my thing. I just want to see because I actually thought we was gonna come back and make this really a game. I really did because I'm like, okay, you know what? Not an offense because I still think no matter what happens this season, the Bears have been great at second half adjustments. And when they came out, we got the ball. We didn't score, but Dallas came out and they got their first 3 and out. I was like, okay, here we go. Second half adjustment. Here we go. But, you know, I believe this team we're going to be okay. Like Christian say, you know, when you see the progress of the team, you be like, okay, this is growth. This is growth. And, you know, let's not get it twisted. At the beginning of the year, how we talked about this team wasn't going to be good. They're not good. They lack talent. They lack talent in so many places. But as long as you keep fighting and put up a chance, we okay. We okay.
What, Jay, I got to agree with Charles Lawless. He just put a captain
up.
Did.
Yeah, he did.
Wide receivers not consistently coming down with the ball. We got a fumble. We gave up a fumble for a touchdown. Justin didn't touch the man down. It's hard to give him an A on that. But, again, 29 points. It's hard not to give him an A. So,
I still can't give it to him. I still can't give it to him.
You're playing with a makeshift offensive line.
Right.
You got a makeshift offensive line. You got guys that probably won't make a lot of NFL teams that are playing starting at wide receiver for you.
Right.
And you finally got a guy who they've been waiting on for 2 years, Cole Kmet, to score a touchdown and get into the offense. So what are we talking about here, people? They're going to make you're playing with bums and you're getting production. They're going to make mistakes.
Right.
And again, like I said, Justin Fields is playing right now with a team that was worse than he was playing with when he was a senior at Ohio State. I'm just saying.
They got probably better receivers at Tent City down here in the homeless community than we got on the Bears team. So, come on, man.
Can we all say like we are starting to see that we have a franchise quarterback? Because Mitch Trubisky would not make these plays. So that's why I'm also giving him an ace because like you see the growth, you see like moments of where you like, okay, it's a player in that. Because that touchdown to, you know, Kmet, I mean, that was impressive.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you, but let's not use Mitch Trubisky as the benchmark, okay?
Mitch, I'm saying it. The reason why I'm saying it is Mitch Trubisky had, in his second season, we didn't see no improvement. We can say we see improvement. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying he's Mitch Trubisky. I know you're not, but I'm just saying when you are an NFL quarterback and you drafted high, there should be some form of improvement that everybody
incremental improvement.
Don't put Mitch
is what they call it
for your argument because it makes it look like Justin Fields is a bum for being compared to Mitch Trubisky.
I don't know who.
You know what? I will say this question.
I don't know who else to say. All I can say is there's improvement.
Patrick Mahomes, come with that.
What I will say this.
That's too steep. That's too steep.
No,
Yeah.
think about
What I will
Josh
say,
Allen
Christian,
was
is
in his second year.
when they had 28 points, I felt they were not out of this game.
Right.
Because the offense was clicking. Previously, I would have known they was out of this game. But I felt that they were not out of this game. But I'm gonna have to wrap up because I got to take my daughter to the airport. She's headed. She came home for the weekend, so I'm gonna have to wrap up. Say hey, thank everybody for tuning in today to watch Bears Banter. Peace.
Peace.
You got change for the dollar? I got 49 cents.
Oh, this hey man.